more you try and prove that you're not crazy, the crazier you look.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, I'm not
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
You don't marry somebody, you don't have a baby with somebody, you don't get in a relationship with somebody expecting them to turn into some things that people turn into. A lot of teenage parents don't realise the intensity of the lifetime responsibility of having a child. And I do not think that anybody should be getting involved in family court unless it is an absolute necessity. It is one of the worst places in the world, and you are quite literally giving up your parental responsibility to an extent, and you are asking a stranger to make choices for you and your family.
Tell me.
I've consciously spent time reprogramming my mind. I think a lot of this has come from my faith, if I'm being completely honest with you. And I can try and live the best and most fulfilling life that I possibly can. I think that your mindset is a choice.
Charlotte, when I came across your story, I recognised something deeply familiar. Family court battles, accusations, misunderstandings, power imbalances, and the silent damage done to children caught in the middle. This episode isn't about attacking individuals. It's about exploring what it feels like to be accused, what it feels like to be unheard, how abuse and false allegations impact both men and women, how children suffer quietly in adult wars, and whether the system is designed to heal or simply to process conflict. We'll approach this from both perspectives, father and mother, so it doesn't become a gender war, but a truth conversation.
Love that.
Welcome, Charlotte. Now, who was Charlotte before the court battles?
Before the court battles, I was married, mum of two. I'd been a foster carer for a while. So I'd had a vulnerable child in my home that I'd been caring for, and just living a very sort of quiet, private mum life. Children were settled. Um, I'd had my own business that I was doing part time, and just a very normal mum slash woman looking after her children, raising her children. I'd moved from London to Kent to give them a better life. And that is sort of who I was before this all happened. Just very normal.
I mean, I would have never suspected that you fostered. How did you get into fostering? Or what made you get into fostering?
So I got into fostering. We knew a family that fostered.
Okay.
And I was sort of in between, am I going to have more children, or could I potentially help look after children that are already here that need it? And we had a spare bedroom, and it was just something that I think my heart called me to do once I sort of realised how many children were in the care system, how much they actually really needed foster carers. I decided that it was just something that I was going to try and just see.
So you've always had a
how it
beautiful
went.
heart.
Oh, that's kind.
Wow. So following obviously you getting into care and or foster caring, I meant to say. When did you realise things started escalating in your relationship now?
So I started to see changes once we moved from London to Kent. Me working had become a problem. Prior to moving out of London, me having my own business and working was never a problem.
I'm being a bit nosy here
Yeah.
now. So was your ex at the time from London or from
Yes, no, both from London. Moved out to Kent for house
joint
prices.
decision?
Joint decision.
Okay.
House prices, better life for the children. I didn't want to raise my children in London for obvious reasons. And yeah, so we moved out to Kent, and then I sort of started noticing little problems like with me working and stuff. And I think at first, sometimes abuse is covered up as love. and you think that that is somebody caring for you and, you know, wanting what is best for you, you can't actually see that
Mm,
from when you're in it, you can't see it.
mm.
And then we got married, and after I got married, it all really changed. There was a significant difference. There was just, I'd all of a sudden realized that there was kind of a lot of emotional abuse. The version of Charlotte that I'd always been had been very slowly deteriorating and dying until it got to a point where I didn't even recognize myself anymore. I'd gained a lot of weight. I was really unhappy. And I knew after we got married that something was not right
Not
at
right.
all.
Well,
Yeah.
so how long were you two together before you actually got married then?
5 years.
So 5 years
Mm-hmm.
being together,
Mm-hmm.
and then he proposed, or you proposed,
He
or
actually just told me that we were going to get married.
oh,
Yeah, yeah. So there wasn't like an elaborate proposal.
okay,
I had actually said, funny enough, that I didn't want to get married because he didn't believe in God, funny enough.
and you did back then,
Yeah, yeah, of course. I've
right?
always had a
Yeah, yeah,
faith.
yeah. Okay,
And I just said, like, it just doesn't align. And then it was all very random and out of the blue. When I told my friends and family that we were getting married, they was like, well, where's the ring? And I was like, I haven't got one. And they was like, what? Everyone was really confused. When you're in that situation, again, it is masked and labeled as care
yeah,
when it's not. And other people from the outside, everyone at this point was telling me, like, Charlotte, this isn't right. Like, you know, don't do this. Like, on my wedding day, people were asking me not to do this. Like, they were saying, please do not do this.
but I mean, you'd be with him for 5 years at this
Mm,
point.
mm.
No telltale
No,
signs,
no, there
you know.
was. I ignored them, and it's
Okay,
something that, you know,
at least that's quite
has come
honest.
back to bite me. I ignored all of the signs. I ignored my intuition because I'd already had a child. So I have two children by two different dads.
Okay,
So my eldest child, um, I've got a great relationship with her dad. We've never had any court problems, you know, nothing like that. We've got a great relationship.
and he's still in her life. He's
Yeah,
active.
he's
He's an active
brilliant. Yeah,
father.
yeah, he's brilliant.
Okay.
But when you have two different children by two different people, you do everything in your power to make that work second time around.
Hmm.
And that was where I was. Like I was like, this is going to work.
Mm.
Like I am not going to be failed. Like I can't have a broken family again. And when I was growing up, all I wanted was a family. Like that was all that I wanted. I just wanted to meet somebody, have lots of children was what I wanted. Hence why I probably went into foster care and stuff. I've always wanted a lot of
Mm.
children. Um, and I just ignored all of the signs. I knew that something wasn't right.
Yeah.
And, you know, because I had had a child by him, then we'd bought a house. And it was like, I think I just kept going down this road in hopes that it was going to get better. And it just kept getting worse.
Yeah. Charlotte, there's so many women potentially listening to this right now,
Mm,
um, who might be going through the same thing.
mm.
Why do you think girls ignore these signs? What is it about the person that they're with that they can see the red flags,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not red enough to cause you to move?
It's not about the other person. It is about you and your need for love and your want to be wanted. And until you can choose yourself and trust yourself, and I speak about this a lot, you know, learning to trust yourself, learning to trust your intuition, learning to hear that inner voice.
Mm.
Until as a woman you're able to do that, you're always going to let somebody else's voice be louder in
Yeah.
your head. And if the voice that is loudest in your head is your abuser, you're in a very vulnerable position. um and I would just urge people to consider what is right for them and not to ignore their instinct and the warning signs.
Mm. But I mean, and kudos to you for being so open there to say that, it starts within.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
and a lot of us at times like to point the finger. I remember a mature person said to me once, you point the finger, but there's three always pointing back at you.
Mm,
And yeah, such a true thing.
mm-hmm.
So even though no. What 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 was your parents like? Did are your mum and dad still together today,
Yeah,
or yeah?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you grew up in a 2.4 family home type of thing. Okay, no, nothing's perfect,
Yeah,
right?
look, nobody's family is perfect. And if you
Nobody's.
have
That's
grown
right.
up in a perfect family, then well done, you've hit the life jackpot.
Yeah,
Love that for you.
yeah.
Okay.
But not even the royal family's grown up with a perfect.
Exactly
Yeah.
that.
So
Like,
let's.
I didn't, nobody's family are perfect. I didn't have, you know, I think my parents done the best they could with what they had. And I think with all parents, you do the best that you have with the knowledge that you have at the time, with the
Yeah.
resources that you have at the time. But my parents are actually older. So I grew up kind of like a generation behind,
Okay.
if that makes sense. So, sort of, most people my age, their grandparents are like the age of my
Very
parents.
similar to mine.
And I grew up with my mum as a very sort of submissive, passive woman. And that was what I learned.
Okay.
Okay. And growing up, children were seen and not heard, and women were seen and not heard.
Mm.
That was how I grew up. So, I think that I just sort of thought that I had to do what my partner says, which to some people sounds absolutely mad. But when you're raised in that environment and that is your
That's your
norm,
core.
it's
Yeah.
all you know.
Mm.
And I think, especially for me, having, two children by two dads, I've really done everything I could to hold that second relationship together. And there was a lot that I was willing to suffer because I just wanted my children to be happy and have stability. And I think it goes back to what you asked me a minute ago. Why do women ignore the signs? If you have children, you then feel a huge responsibility to put their happiness and their stability
Right.
ahead of your own.
I hear that. But then, would you not say that it's slightly? And please don't take this the wrong
No,
way.
of course not.
Um, because I know I have friends like yourself,
Hmm.
and I ask them all the time. Do you not think you was being a bit selfish that you may have brought these children into the world,
Hmm.
not thinking about the bigger picture that they might be fatherless one day?
1 million%.
You
1 million
know,
percent. I had my first child at 19, and it was only once I had her, I had an immense amount of guilt that her dad is brilliant. So I'm never, I haven't got
don't
a
have any
bad word to
regrets
say
about.
about him. I have no regrets.
Yeah.
Having my daughter at 19 for me and for my soul was the best thing that could have ever possibly happened to me.
Mm.
I've been very lucky that she does have the dad that she has and they have that relationship and that stability. But it was only once I had her that I actually realized the lifetime responsibility, which may sound naive, but I think that a lot of teenage parents don't realize the intensity of the lifetime responsibility
Yeah.
of having a child. Um, and honestly, having her and then having my son, it gave me a lot of drive to give them a better life. And it pushed me forward. Like, it wasn't a case of, oh, I've had these kids, I'm just now going to sit here and do this and do nothing. Like,
Mm.
it really pushed me forward to want to be able to give them a better life. Nobody plans to be
Single.
single in these circumstances. Like, for my son, I carry a horrendous amount of guilt
Why?
that that is
His reality.
his reality and his other parent, because I would have never have chosen that for him if I knew. You don't marry somebody, you don't have a baby with somebody, you don't get in a relationship with somebody expecting them to turn into some things that people turn into. And I think that I can either sit here and continue to feel guilty about it
Mm.
and to continue to have negative feelings about it, or I could say, do you know what, I made a mistake.
Mm.
I have to take accountability for that. All I can do is give my children the best I possibly can in the time that they are with me. And I don't think anybody sitting there beating themselves up. It's not helping you. It's not helping your kids.
That's such an amazing perspective,
Mm.
and one that definitely qualifies for your, you taking accountability, because without looking within to see where the problem began,
Mm,
it's hard to come to a place of healing, right?
definitely.
And the fact that you're able to do that at this stage of your life and your children's
Mm,
gives them at least an opportunity also to rectify the wrongs that was done, in a way, if I'm making sense,
100%.
because you're now you're kind of showing your children, I guess, through the way that you're choosing to live your life today, the things to do and the things not to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because as we said earlier, they're always watching,
Yeah.
um,
Children will do what you do,
and
not do what
children
you
will do what you
say.
do, and exactly that. So, it's not about condemning ourselves for the mistakes that we've done in the past,
Mm.
but it takes incredible strength and resilience to it's the way you responded. That's
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking
Oh,
about. How
absolutely.
you've
Yeah.
responded now. So you're like, right, I can't undo the past.
Mm-hmm.
My children are here.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
Mm-hmm.
undo that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to be the best me to make sure that they're the
100%.
best
Yeah,
kids
100%. That's
ever.
that's all you can do. And
But where did you get that from? Because not everybody has that outlook. So
um
where did that come from for you?
I mean, we were talking off camera earlier, and I said to you about I've consciously spent time reprogramming my mind. I think a lot of this has come from my faith, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Absolutely.
Um, and seeing, what is the moral right and the moral wrong in the Bible, and what that tells you about children, and being a wife, and I once you have seen so much pain and you've had so many bad experiences, you get to a place mentally where it's just like, right, I can either continue down this path of negative, low vibrational experiences, or I can come over here and I can try and live the best and most fulfilling life that I possibly can. I think that your mindset is a choice, and I've
I
genuinely,
like that. I like
yeah.
that. Copyright that, Shah. Before someone, your mindset is a
Yeah,
choice.
it is a
It
choice, and
is.
I've made a very active decision that I will be the best possible parent to my children, despite our circumstances, despite what other people do. And I've had, my daughter's 10. I've had quite grown up conversations with her, and she's sort of like, well, they've done that, so why don't you do that back? And I said, because if I do that back, then that makes me just as bad as them.
Exactly.
You know, two rights don't, two wrongs don't make a right.
Correct.
And as much as somebody may mistreat me, if I mistreat you back, I am just as bad as you.
Mm.
Like, I don't want to become that person. And I think the saying is so true that if you hold like anger and hate in your heart, like it's something like that, that the only person that it hurts is you.
Is
And
you
it's so true.
100%?
And the most freeing thing that you can do is to forgive somebody.
Yeah.
And it is your heart, your mindset, and your emotions that carry you through your daily life. I don't want to be bitter and angry, and I'm genuinely not. Like, day
Yeah.
to day, I'm happy and quite a bubbly, go with the
Well,
flow
I could see it.
person.
The
Yeah.
minute I met you, the energy was just like kaboom.
Oh, that's
Even though you had
nice.
cold hands, but
Oh no, it's freezing, when I.
but no, it says everything about you. I think what
Mm.
you just mentioned there, and it exuberated through your, like I said, your presence,
No, that's nice.
and you can tell that you don't carry bitterness or nothing like that.
No,
Just by the
I
way
don't think anyone
you
should.
look,
Yeah.
you look happy.
Yeah, I genuinely
No,
am
you
though,
do.
and
You look it.
yeah.
You look it. Praise God for that. But
Amen.
we still need to make. There's people out there that they 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 haven't got that
Mm.
what you had,
So,
and
sorry, go on.
some people might say, I didn't grow up in a household that
Mm.
spoke about God, so I wouldn't have what Charlotte has, so to
Mm.
speak.
Mm.
I wouldn't know to lean on that as a reference.
Mm.
What would you say to that
I mean,
lady?
I grew up. God wasn't spoken about in the way that sort of you and I would speak about God, where we're
Mm.
like, we love God, it's really important to have a relationship with God. It was more, those were the beliefs that my parents, I think, were raised with. And if I'm being completely honest, we went to church so that I could get into the better schools.
Oh,
That's what it was about.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that my parents had a true love and a burning desire for God. So I didn't necessarily grow up in that environment either. And
Okay.
I think it's the same with anything in life. Once you become, some people think an adult is 18, others 21, 16. Once you're an adult, in my opinion, from 18 onwards, you now have free will and choices.
Mm.
If you want to have a faith, it is up to you to seek that. Same as if, you want a uni degree, it is up to you to seek that.
Yeah.
Once you become an adult, whatever it is that you want in your life, it's your responsibility to seek. And I think, like, for me, and my message is very much to inspire faith. I'm not trying to, overly preach and tell everybody you need God, but I'm saying that it is to have God in your life and to know God and to know Jesus will ground you in the most beautiful way, and you are able to become a very resilient person because you know that ultimately God's plan is always better than yours. It doesn't matter if bad things happen, because everything that is happening to you is happening for a reason. um and I've been asked this a lot. I didn't grow up with a faith, but I'm interested, and the Bible tells us you have to go to God, you have to seek God, you
Mm.
have to seek him.
Because
So
he's there, isn't
of
he?
course
He's
he
just
is.
waiting for
He's
us
waiting for
to
you to go to
go to
him.
him.
Yeah.
That's right. So just switching it slightly now,
Mm.
because you said earlier on, me and you could flow for days, for days, for days. I can tell. But what did you believe? So I asked you who the girl was
Mm,
before, who
mm,
Charlotte was, sorry,
mm,
before, before the legal battles, and went into foster care and
mhm,
young children and stuff like that. You became a mother yourself.
mhm.
Are you married now at this point, or
Divorced now.
no? Sorry,
Oh,
I'm talking
sorry,
about
sorry.
up to the point of um, having your first child, maybe the second one.
No, married after both.
You married them after
Yeah, yeah,
both.
married after both.
Okay. What did you believe the court system would do for you?
Oh, wow. I thought that they would help me, if I'm being completely honest. So I never took this to court. I was
Oh, you
never,
wasn't
no, no,
the
no.
applicant.
I was not the applicant. I was the
You was
respondent.
the
Oh,
respondent.
yeah.
Okay.
And I do not think that anybody should be getting involved in family court unless it is an absolute necessity. It
Mm.
is one of the worst places in the world, and you are quite literally giving up your parental responsibility to an extent, and you are asking a stranger to make choices for you and your family.
Tell me about
Okay.
it. Mm.
And if you look at it from the bigger picture, why any two parents who truly love and care about their children want to put that decision in the hands of the law rather than just banging your heads together and making a fair decision
Yeah.
is beyond me.
Yeah.
I was not the applicant. I don't suggest anyone
But
goes
of
down
course,
that route.
they're going to say that they exist because there are parents who cannot communicate.
Mhm.
They cannot work it out
Mhm.
together. So that's why we exist
Yeah.
to assist those couples.
Yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, like you,
Mm.
I also have been in a legal battle.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, currently still going through it at
Yeah.
this moment in
Mhm.
time. What I didn't, so I was the applicant,
Yeah.
having to apply to the family courts.
Mm.
To be in my little girl's life was something that I found really felt undermined. Like you, I would have rather resolved it between the two of
Mm.
us
Amicably.
amicably. And initially, we were.
Mhm.
Um, we had our local church was kind of like playing mediator.
Mhm. Mhm.
My pastor, a few of the godparents sit around the meeting table.
That's beautiful that
Yeah,
the family and community tried.
yeah, we had it like that.
Mm.
We had it like that. Um, but then and I have to be honest, you know, on here. She wanted more money out of me,
Mhm.
and I argued that I do, you know, clothes shopping,
Mhm.
this, that. So why do you need more money?
Mhm.
You know? So she was like, well, everything's gone up.
Mhm.
So I need, anyway, long and short, whilst I was dithering and dabbering about, do I give her more money? My pastor obviously advised, you know, that's your daughter.
Mm.
So there's no amount of money in the world really
Mm.
that thing. But I said, but she doesn't need that X to live
Yeah.
on for
Mhm.
the month. Anyway, it was for that reason. Maybe I was dithering for too long.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, a letter come through my door.
Child maintenance.
And it was from that point on that I decided I'm going to go down this route now.
Yeah.
So, like you said, I would have rather resolve it amicably between the two of us. But then
Mhm.
there are people in the world that aren't amicable.
Mhm.
So court systems exist, I guess, for
Mhm.
those reasons and
Mhm.
purposes.
Mhm.
Um, when you obviously went to court, did you feel heard?
No, not at all.
Why not?
My court circumstances were very intense. It wasn't a gentle application. Family court, you've got to be quite mindful what you're speaking about because they're private law proceedings.
Mm.
And mine was all initially done behind my back. Okay, so I didn't know about it. And
Oh, you just got like the letter through
I was served.
you were served.
So I didn't get a letter through the door.
You got
I
served.
had somebody knock on the door and serve me with
Oh.
court paperwork. It was very intense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was bad. And but this had all been premeditated. It was a lot.
Mm.
And but no, I didn't feel heard. I didn't feel heard. And even I was in first set of court proceedings for 16 months. And it took, I'd say, maybe 9 months for them to actually start to hear me and to listen to what I
Wow.
was actually saying.
And at what point did you feel the system? I mean, you said 9 months now, but
Mm,
when did you start feeling or recognizing that the
mm.
system wasn't designed to mend?
After my first court hearing. After
Yeah.
my first court hearing, there was no, and do you know, it's not just the system, okay? And I mean no harm to any legal professional,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
But these people are feeding their families off of,
People like myself and you.
yeah, like off of other people's troubles.
Yeah.
So the solicitors have no incentive to resolve because the more they keep the conflicts, the more money that they make.
Mm.
Barristers are a little bit different. Okay, they kind of want to resolve, but it's financially, it's not in the court's best interest. It's not in the solicitors or the barrister's best interest. It's not in their best interest to resolve this for you, and they
Mm.
will fuel the fire. I had that very, very much so in my experience, not from my solicitor, but from the other party. They wanted to fuel the fire,
Mm.
and the courts, in my opinion, they don't have their laws do not work for 2026. I
Mm.
think that they was written in like the 90s,
Yeah.
you know,
Or
like
even
they're so outdated.
yeah, yeah.
So outdated. But a lot has changed. Times have changed. You know, you've now got the child maintenance service. You've now got all of these things. You have mediation.
Yeah.
That didn't exist 30 years ago.
Yeah. True.
Um, and that the family court is not fit for purpose.
Mm.
It's not. It is destroying lives, not helping them. And I completely understand in some circumstances, you know, if women apply to court for, you know, non-molestation orders, things like that, if they are with an abuser and they need protection, then that is one thing.
Mm.
Okay, if you
Mm.
need it in an emergency and you and your children are in danger, absolutely make the court application. I would never tell anybody not to do that. If you're making a court application because you can't decide where that baby's going on what day, like, I'm sorry, in my opinion, you two are big enough to lie down and have a baby at some point, bang your heads together and sort it out for your kids. Why are
Absolutely.
you doing this?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? You're taking food out of your baby's belly because you're putting your money elsewhere. You two are now stressed, which means you're not giving your all to your child. Your mind and your thoughts is elsewhere because you'll have your child. Well, you're now stressing about court fees, the next court date, and what is going to happen. Can't be the best version of yourself and the best parent that you can be to your baby while you have all of this going on.
1,000,000%.
Mm,
But unfortunately, people still go down this route,
mm.
and I think it's because of the
It's
the
because
hate toward
it's because of control.
and control.
That's what it's
That's
about.
that's the key word. It's
It
control.
is control.
It's control.
It is control.
So without naming details,
Mm.
what does it feel like to be accused of something that you didn't do?
Oh, wow. Truly heartbreaking. Um, yeah, it
I mean, if you
is.
feel safe to
Yeah,
elaborate, do you
yeah.
feel
He,
can you say on
oh, I
here?
can't really
Okay,
because
okay.
I do still have active court proceedings going
Oh,
on,
okay. So for
but
that reason.
it was essentially around the lie. Um, it was based on my mental health and trying to say that I was very mentally unstable,
Okay.
um, and that I wasn't able to look after the children, and which was a complete like like he was told that I had bipolar, schizophrenia, like
Mm.
all of these things, which
Did he say that you use drugs and stuff as well? Did he try and put that
no,
in
he
there?
actually didn't because
Oh.
I mean they would have drugged. I mean he did say that I was drinking,
Mm.
and then they'd obviously tested me, and there was no alcohol in my. I'm not really a drinker. Like I have like the occasional one, but
Yeah.
I'm not like a drinker.
Yeah.
And but it was more sort of around my mental health, and for me the problem was that I had then had multiple psychiatric assessments that I requested. I was pushing myself on them.
Okay.
I was like assess me because he's saying that I'm crazy. If I am, give me some help, please. If I'm not, can you let them know?
Mm.
And I had multiple assessments. I'd also been arrested under false allegations, so I'd had a psychiatric assessment in the police station. They was like, "You're definitely not crazy. You've basically said that like you're a victim of emotional and psychological abuse. That is why you feel the way that you do at the
Right.
minute." Um, and sorry, so moral of this story is that I brought medical evidence to court on several occasions. There has never been any evidence of a mental illness. There has never been any evidence, there is nothing here to say that this woman has any sort of mental illness, any sort of concern mentally, but it still wasn't enough. Like that wasn't enough until it got to the final hearing. And that's the problem is that at this point, obviously I had solicitors, um, multiple letters from mental health teams saying that there is absolutely nothing here. And I took that into court and I was like, well, you've done this and allowed him to do this to me based on the false allegations about my mental health.
Mm.
I have evidence that supports that I have no underlying mental illness. There is no present mental illness, and that the reason I felt as low as I did was because I'd been emotionally abused. Why is that not enough at this point? And it just wouldn't. And it had to go all the way to a final hearing, which anyone who knows, once you enter court proceedings, you're looking at 2 years. If you're going to final hearing, 2 years. And
Wow.
at the final hearing, that was the one thing that was proven was that he'd lied to the court about my mental health.
Oh, it actually got
Oh
proved.
yeah, I've got it. Yeah, it's been proven that he lied to the court about my mental
I'm
health.
so pleased to hear that.
Yeah, because
Because
and that's what I mean. It's like that was the false allegation that like I've got all of this wrong with me, and the more you try and prove that you're not crazy, the crazier you look
yeah,
because you're like, well, I'm not
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
All crazy people
yeah,
say
yeah,
that they're not crazy, don't they?
yeah,
But I was coming from the angle of if there is something wrong with me, then please can you help me because I have children and I would never want to be unwell for my children.
yeah.
The mental health team were literally laughing me out the door. Like they was like, Charlotte, like we're doing you a disservice by keeping you open to mental health team because there is nothing wrong with you. Like you're absolutely fine. Unfortunately, you've been in an abusive relationship,
Mm.
but it took 16 months and it caused a lot of damage to my children. It causes a lot of damage to, not that I'm someone like that, but like to your reputation and what people think of
No, absolutely,
you.
Charlotte. I definitely empathise with you there.
Yeah, and it's horrendous. But yeah, it did. It got proven. It got proven in the end that he'd lied to the court.
Did
Mm.
they, at any point, take your children away from you, or
Yeah, he did.
he did?
He did.
So, but yeah, but did he do it legally or
Hmm.
he done it illegally?
He's done it once legally and once illegally. Well, I say illegally, but he done it once. The first time he done it, um, was my first set of court proceedings. He stopped me from seeing my son. Didn't see him for 4 weeks. Bearing in mind, prior to that, I'd only ever spent 2 nights apart from him. Was a full-time mum. He'd always been with me. The dad had worked full-time, so I was a broken woman.
I mean, what do you tell your kid when you take them away from
Oh,
their
it was
mum?
horrendous. It genuinely has caused a lot of emotional trauma.
You didn't see him or speak to
No,
him
for four
for
weeks.
four
Oh, I was
weeks.
broken. I was
Could you
broken.
tell me what the reunion was like when you
Oh,
what?
it was, I'll be honest. So I had social services and that involved. Prior to this, obviously, I was a foster carer.
Yeah.
So I'm an approved foster carer. I've looked after vulnerable children in my home, and now somebody's trying to tell me that I'm unfit.
Mm,
Are you for real?
the devil's a liar.
No, but it's so true
Mm.
though. And the social worker, she's left now, so it's fine. I can say this. She doesn't work there anymore. But she actually lied and told him that they needed to do a parenting assessment on me just so that I would see my son. Because he was like, nope, it's going through the court. She's not seeing him. And she said, well, we need to do a parenting assessment on her, which she said they did need to do. But it wasn't the purpose of the meeting. She just wanted me to see my son.
Mm.
And the social worker, and God love her, if she ever does see this or ever does come across me, because I was a broken woman at that time, and I remember her saying to me, Charlotte, pull yourself together, because he's saying that you're crazy, and the more you cry, the more you look it.
Mm.
And she helped me to sort of be like, right, do you know what, I'm playing into his hands here.
Right.
And seeing my son again for the first time, as beautiful as it was heartbreaking, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest.
I mean,
Like,
did he mummy
oh,
or yeah?
yeah, it was, we were
Oh,
both really crying. The
yeah.
social worker actually cried. Like, it was really, really, really emotional.
And was he allowed to come back with you at that moment or
No,
no?
no,
Was
I
it
saw him for an hour.
oof.
And I remember after, my mum had waited outside for me, and I got back in the car with my mum after, and I broke down in tears. And like, my mum, as I said earlier, she's older, and she was just like, Charlotte, like, I have never heard anybody cry like that. Like, and when, I can't imagine how it must have felt for my mum to watch her baby in that much pain. It
Yeah.
was truly horrendous. Like, and it's like, he's just taken him from me. And my issue was, is that because he'd had me arrested under false allegations, okay, I then was told that if I tried to retrieve my child, that I would be remanded. Yeah.
Right.
I have another child that is in my care full time, bearing in mind the whole time.
Yeah. The whole
So
time.
my 10-year-old, I
Yeah.
was good enough to parent her the whole
Yeah.
time. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
But my son wasn't okay because his dad said so. And then the court agreed because the dad went and told the court a load of lies. And I had references from my fostering agency, from my daughter's dad. Obviously, I'd worked with other professionals while
Mm.
being a foster carer. I had a tutor working in my home,
Mm.
with my foster child every day for months. She wrote me, had so many references. The court did not want to hear it. They would not accept any of it.
I'm finding it difficult to fathom this.
Mm,
I'll tell you why. Because from my experience
mm,
up till now,
mm,
and thank God for this conversation, because I was under the impression that the system was predominantly for mothers.
mm-hmm,
As a father, that my
mm-hmm,
experience was that
mm-hmm.
they don't ask me any questions.
Yeah,
They just slap the ticket at me,
yeah,
book him, Dano. He's in the wrong, right? But here I am hearing a mother
mm-hmm.
saying that there was no substantial
None.
evidence, yet whatever was accused and was said,
Yeah,
that was it.
yeah.
And you didn't see your son for 4 weeks, which
Mm.
yeah, that's thrown me a bit.
The evidence that he had was that on the day that this happened, we had had a fight.
Okay.
He laid his hands on me first. I reacted. My reaction left something there.
You bruised him.
His did not.
Okay.
I did have bruises, but they didn't care.
Yeah, they didn't.
You know why? Because I didn't go to the hospital and be like, he's done this, that, and that. He went to the hospital. He cried wolf was what he done.
Mm-hmm.
And made out that I'd attacked him and I'd done this and I'd done that. Complete load of lies. Complete load of lies. I am 5'2". I weigh 8.5 stone. He's massive. Like, what was I gonna do? Like, if you look at it from a practical and realistic perspective, and that's what it was. He went to the hospital and he claimed domestic violence, and that was how he was able to do this, basically. But that's what I'm saying. That was the evidence, along with saying that I am a nutter.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's just so sad that, you know, that
But this
these.
happens to men
Yeah.
all the time, and that was what when I first went on TikTok and started talking about it. There was definitely mums on there that was like, oh my gosh, this has happened to me. But the amount of dads that were like, well, I haven't seen my children for 6 years because of false allegations. The only reason I have my son back now is because I am the mum. Men, this happens to them. They don't see their kids for years. They spend thousands and they do not see their children for years. It is horrendous. Mm.
It's like I've just lost for words, but
Sorry.
no, it's all right because
It's terrifying.
yeah, and it's
that it
very.
can happen.
This is a very heartfelt thing because, like I said to you, I'm currently going through.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't seen my little girl now since October.
What?
Yeah, and I've got parental
Responsibility, of
responsibility and
course.
everything in place.
Right.
So one would argue right now and say, well, this is a breach, David. Why have you not? What's happening?
Right. Have you got a court order in place?
The court order
Or
is
the
in place.
application?
No, the court order
Right.
is in place.
Yeah.
But my daughter has been coerced in saying to me that, Daddy, I don't want to come at the moment. But she hasn't said why.
How old is she?
She's 10. She hasn't
Right.
told me why. I said to her, it's fine, Biscuit. You know, you going to a, you and Mummy got plans this weekend or whatever. Anyway, long and short, it all happened on an incident when I told her off, right? And I guess this telling off was a bit much for her, that she's decided that she's going to punish Daddy. I don't know. But what's weird about the punish Daddy is how long it's lasting over a tell-off. It doesn't make any sense to me. And me and my little girl, if you know her, we're quite close.
Yeah.
So I understand it is what it is in light of what's going on behind closed doors. But what I don't understand, maybe outside of my situation, is how the mothers, not in your circumstance, you're an exception, but how Kafkas, I should say, not the mothers, the same way they speak to the living parent, nobody reached out to me.
Didn't they?
No, not until after everything. I'm talking about before I got the order in place.
Yeah.
No, everything was the mum and my daughter, and them two was able to just,
It's been whatever story they want.
Yeah, so maybe.
I'm not saying that is what has happened, but in a lot of cases, that is what happens.
That is what happens. So that's where I currently am today myself. Not that today's about me, but there are men listening, perhaps, as well as women. Like I said, today's conversation is on both perspectives. And hearing your story has given me a new outlook because I've never heard a mother. I've heard mothers have their children taken away, but rightfully so.
Yeah.
But
100%. There are some grounds that you shouldn't be having your children. Mine definitely wasn't.
But this
should have never have happened.
Absolutely. And it just seems, Charlotte, that the system doesn't know how to differentiate between abuse and manipulation.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. And the problem, one of the problems that I've found in criminal court, okay, they've got to be 100% sure that you've committed that crime and you are innocent until proven guilty. Okay. In family court, it's based on what the judge believes. It's that simple.
It's that simple.
Yeah, it's that simple. Does that judge on that day think that you're telling the truth or you're telling the truth? They've only got to be 51%.
My
So they've
goodness.
just got, if you're both standing there, this is what's happened, and the other one's saying this is what happened, the judge has got to go, I believe you more than I believe them, and that's it, and it's done. And
And if the judge had a
they,
bad night, imagine.
well, I've had the judge have a bad time several times, me being in court. Honest to God, I have, and I think, are you
Oh
for
man.
real?
Mm.
And look, one of the family court is not fit for purpose. Okay, everybody that's gone through it will agree that it's not fit for purpose. Even if you are the parent that is leveraging the family court and custody,
Mm.
even you know that it's wrong. They know that it's wrong. The people that do, the parent that does this and removes the child and removes the custody knows that it's wrong.
Yeah.
In their heart and in their spirit,
Yeah.
they know. One of my family court, once all of my court proceedings and that are sort of gone and out of the way, okay, I will then very much step into speaking about family court, but you need to be mindful of it. And I thought a lot about family court and what needs to change and where the issues are. And all I can actually point it down to is the fact that it is not the same judge every time. You have to be very mindful if you want to change laws surrounding children's safety.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not something that you should play with lightly. And you need to obviously have a very good understanding of it. I'm not a legal professional. Everything I know is off of my lived experience. If a family court case had the same judge every time and this judge got to know the family, know the circumstances, I think it would make a difference. Okay.
Mm.
But unfortunately, at the moment, it is a different judge every time you go, and that judge sort of sits on their high horse essentially, looks down upon the parents, and 1 hour is how long you're in court for, and they are making decisions that change lives in 1 hour.
Mm.
It is not, it's not fit for purpose. And I think if there is one thing that needs to be changed, it needs to be that there needs to be an allocated judge.
Yeah.
There needs to be an allocated
Who sits
judge.
on one
Who's,
case
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Like
deals with your.
these are your cases.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You get
Yeah.
in, I don't know, however many cases there needs to be.
Yeah. I
And it
agree.
also makes the judge's workload a lot harder because they're constantly going in and out with different families. And yeah, if I could pinpoint it down to one issue with family court, it would be that there isn't a consistent professional involved. If the police are investigating you for criminal court,
Yeah.
there is a designated investigator. There is a designated team investigating what is going on. Why is what is going on in a child's life any less important or deserve, less kind of care, time, and attention than other things that are going on
No,
in the world?
absolutely. And I was just going to say that to you that the prolonged legal conflict
Mm.
inevitably is going to have an effect on the children,
Oh,
right?
horrendous! It's
Horrendous,
horrendous.
Yeah, I remember when I read my daughter's report once, and it said that without going into
Got to
too
be
much
mindful of what you say about family court. I might have said too
details.
much already. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I know. We might have to look back on this and,
It's
and
fine.
edit carefully. But no, we're only speaking on our experiences here.
Mm.
We're not condemning the system per se, but this is our experience based in that system. And as I was saying to you, when I read this report and saw, it said that my daughter run hid under a table at school and just hid under a table, and I just broke down. I
Mm.
read this and I was like,
Yeah.
because automatically
Mm.
I identified that to do with she's going through. It's just
Yeah,
trauma for
yeah,
her
trauma. There's something going
because it's
on.
not normal for any child
Mm.
to hear that my child hides and runs under the table.
Of course not.
You're not playing hide and seek.
No.
This is not a children's birthday party.
Mhm.
You're at school,
Mhm.
place to learn.
Mhm.
So yeah, I got really sad on that. How do you deal with your children in relations to? Because I mean, your own mental health is one thing.
Mm.
Now you've got a.
No, you're dealing with
Now you're
two.
looking at
Yeah.
the other mental health of your children. How do you balance? Do you get help from your parents? Are they involved?
My mum is really helpful. My mum is incredible. My mum is really helpful, but my mum will Google everything psychologically. What's this going on psychologically for the child? Okay.
Okay.
I'm more intuitive. I try and understand what the children need by spending time with them.
Mm.
And all I feel that I can do genuinely is to love them as much as possible in the time that they are with me. Like, I can't control what is going on at the other parent's house. I wish I could. Okay. Same as most parents in this situation. You wish that you could, especially if you don't trust the other parent, okay, and you're not sure of what is going on in that environment.
Mm.
It's very scary. You have to accept that all you can do is control what goes on in your house and under your time. I think in your situation, and obviously I've been there where I didn't see my son. My ex took my son again last year for 10 weeks, disappeared with him. So I've been in court twice over this first 16 months, then 10 weeks. When you're not seeing your child, okay, this is going to have a psychological impact on them. Anybody that thinks that stopping your child from seeing the parent, okay, is the right thing to do, unless that other parent is causing physical harm to your child, the best thing that you can do is allow that relationship to happen, okay? Because psychological and emotional damage you're causing your child by stopping it is going to be far worse, okay, than anything else that could be happening.
I want you to continue,
Yeah.
but what if the father
Mm.
or the other parent, I should say,
Yeah.
because it could be the mother too.
Yeah.
What if they're not financially contributing
Mm.
or inputting, positive and good values into that child?
Mm.
Would you still say that gives you? It still cause. It's not enough still to stop them from seeing the child.
If you're causing harm to your children emotionally, psychologically, like you're actively causing harm,
Mm.
okay, I know that there has been emotional and psychological harm actively caused to one of my children. Do I believe that that parent is now safe? Obviously not. Obviously not. When it comes to finances and stuff, I think that in most cases the mum has the child for the majority of the time. Yeah. Dad should pay maintenance, okay? Because and it's based upon the fact that okay, well the mum has the child majority of the time. That means that less of her time is available for her to work and for her to earn money. Should you be stopping your children seeing their other parent based off of maintenance? No. Even if your issue as a woman is the fact that the dad isn't paying maintenance, well, you decided to have that baby just as much as he did. You're just as financially responsible and liable. I'm saying dad should pay maintenance.
Mm.
Okay. Majority of cases the baby lives with the mum,
Mm.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
And dad should pay maintenance. Should be an agreement between the two of you. Dad should be willing to pay maintenance. Do some women take advantage of that and ask for more in certain situations? Of course they do. But I don't think no decisions based on your children's care and where they're with should be based upon finances. That shouldn't be happening. And any woman that is I was once told, don't have a baby unless you're willing to fully have that baby and look after that baby on your own, because you never know.
Hundred
Like you
percent.
never know.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think that any decisions, you can't be begrudging your child of seeing that other parent for financial. Okay. When we now start talking about the harm that that parent is potentially causing to the child, that's a different, it's a different conversation.
Mm.
And I think that anybody that is harming a child in any way, obviously you need to look at how much they're going to be seeing that child.
That makes a lot of sense, Charlotte.
Mm.
And I wish all women thought like you. But if they did, I guess we wouldn't have the imbalance of understanding,
We probably wouldn't have family court.
and we definitely wouldn't have family court, would we? Um, it's a bit of an out there question. Have you had therapy,
Yes.
counselling?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How did that go?
Um, I'll be honest. I done therapy because I thought it was going to help me when this all initially started with my child. And then as the weeks went by, I remember being out shopping one day and I forgot that I had therapy. I was having it over the phone. And she phoned me and I've wandered off away from. I was happy, I was out shopping, I was fine. And I've now wandered off from shopping. I'm like, yeah, I can talk. I'm gonna go sit in the park on a bench. And I'm crying, sobbing, broken now because I'm having my therapy. Why? Because I'm bringing all my trauma back to the forefront. I was distracted. I was out shopping. I was very happy.
Yeah,
Now I'm sitting here talking about my trauma, crying in a park. And
relive.
reliving it. And from that day, for me personally, I don't think you can get over your trauma if you do keep reliving it in conversation. Do you need to take time to process your emotions and process what has happened to you? Absolutely. Is it any benefit of you to keep bringing it up?
Not
In my
really.
opinion, no.
Mm,
I don't think that it's helpful.
mm,
Um,
mm.
I find my strength in God.
Yeah,
Like I genuinely do. Like I find my strength in my faith.
yeah.
I lean on God when I am struggling emotionally. And for me, therapy, it just at first I felt like it was helping, and then I felt like it wasn't. And some of the things that they would sort of recommend is like, right, well, we're going to go back to this and we're going to think about it differently and we're going to reframe it so that it sits differently in your mind. And I was like, but that's not what happened though. So you now want me to lie to myself about what's happened? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to accept it for what it is and I'm going to move on from it. That's the best thing that I can do. So me personally, I didn't find it. I didn't find it helpful. I found it a lot more helpful going to church and speaking to God.
Absolutely. And the Bible tells us that Jesus is the wonderful counselor. So
Yeah.
you're speaking to the right person
That's how I felt.
anyway.
Yeah, that was how I felt.
But I mean, I've had therapy.
Mm,
I've under gone counselling as well.
yeah.
Like you, I actually agree that
Mm,
too much of it sometimes is no good. But
mm,
I think it's still important that
mm,
you speak to someone, because when you internalize your trauma
mhm.
or experience, especially if it's a bad one, you can end up hearing those voices saying it was you that was in the wrong. You're the bad one. You're the this. You're the
That's
that.
shame.
Is it that's shame
That's
that a
shame.
person's
Yeah,
hearing?
that's shame.
But what I meant when I was trying to correlate that with speaking out, are you? I don't know if I misunderstood what you were saying earlier on. Are you saying that you wouldn't really advise anyone to seek therapy or counselling because reliving your past is only going to put you through those motions again?
I think I would advise, if you have been through something very traumatic, okay, I would advise potentially a short course of therapy, like
Yeah,
6 weeks.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Go and get it all out.
yeah,
Go and get it all out. Go and sit and cry with somebody that isn't going to judge you,
mm,
that doesn't actually know you,
yeah.
can give you
Impartial.
some impartial
Yeah,
advice.
yeah,
Yeah. Go and get it all out of your system, okay? But give yourself a cut-off point to say, all right, I'm going to go and have 6 weeks of therapy, and then after that, chin up, chest out.
yeah.
I got to get on with
And
it.
get.
Yeah.
Hey.
Like it's that simple. Because if you're going to keep crying about something, you're not going to get over it. And this, and I've had a lot of different difficult situations happen in my life where when I was younger, I spent a lot more time in therapy. Okay. As I've gotten older, I think go and have your initial 6 weeks, but after that, you need to be able to support yourself emotionally and
Absolutely.
mentally.
Mm.
I find a lot of comfort and solace in communicating with God, in reading my Bible and having that connection. Yeah, that's where I do. I really find a lot of comfort, and I got a lot better once I stopped going to therapy. It was a quite a quick.
That's really, praise be
Mm,
to God for that, right?
mm,
Because I was just about to ask you. I mean, considering you've had your darkest moments. I'm
mm,
assuming it was
mm,
when your son was taken away.
absolutely.
Yeah. Once you was able to rekindle that relationship
Mm,
again,
mm,
how did you? Well, I kind of know how, but let's tell the audience how you rebuilt your sense of identity
mhm.
following the legal battles now.
I first had to become very aware of myself, my
Mm.
own flaws. What have I done to contribute to this? Um,
Some man in the mirror moments.
Absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely. Looking at myself and okay, well, what did I do to contribute to this?
Mm.
What can I do to prevent something like this from happening again? I really took a very deep look at myself and a very honest one, which is not always easy to do. None of us are perfect, but the first step in my healing was awareness, okay, and a very honest awareness of myself.
Mm.
Um After that, I very much I lent on God for comfort, okay, and to help me understand that, you know, God didn't call us to be perfect. Okay. He called us to come and be as we are. And I think as long as your heart is pure and your intentions are in the right place, um, God knows your heart. And that also gave me a lot of comfort, knowing that God did know that I never meant any harm to actually happen. And I always did have a pure heart.
Right.
And after that, I think I really had to focus on rebuilding myself, but those two stages had to come first. And I really looked at myself and thought, okay, well, what sort of woman do I want to be? How do I grow through this? How can I be the best mum possible? How can I make sure that these sort of things don't happen again? And I think we might have been off the podcast when we were saying it earlier, but by not allowing the bad and horrible things that have happened to you
Yeah,
to harden your heart, like
absolutely.
don't become bitter because you've had bad, horrible
Mm,
experiences. Learn from them, embrace them as much as you possibly can,
mm.
and they will show you how not to treat other people.
Yeah,
And they
definitely.
also help you to create your own boundaries.
Yeah, 100%. I kind of reference it to like Squid Game, but
Oh.
but in a different yeah, just a different way of playing the game.
Mhm.
Um, what do I mean by this? If life is all about how people can make you feel,
Mm.
the game is you have to go through life combating bitterness,
Oh.
anger,
Mhm.
hate, jealousy.
Mm.
You know, you got to put. You know, I'm making swinging my arms and everything here now because I'm giving the analogy that I'm in a combat. I'm
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
combat zone. I'm in war zone, and we know the Bible tells us that we have to armor up. And sometimes one of the passages that come to mind is the shield in terms of the armor is known as the shield of faith,
Mhm.
right? And it tells you not only what it is, but what it's used for.
Yeah.
And it says to distinguish the arrows
Yeah.
of the enemy,
Yeah.
right? We know that that's obviously a connotation between the Romans at
Mhm.
the time. Um, but I just mentioned about the Squid Game because that's how you have to look at life. That
Mm.
we're in like this simulation. I'm speaking
Yeah, yeah,
hypothetical.
yeah.
You get me. I'm trying to get the listeners to understand as well that it's about protecting your heart.
Absolutely.
It's about protecting your heart. Charlotte, have you ever felt angry with God?
Oh yeah.
It,
Oh yeah.
because of
Oh yeah.
yeah, this situation.
When this happened to me,
Mm,
I was so angry with God, and to the point where in my head, I'm shouting at God. Like, I'm like, why have you allowed this to happen to me?
mm,
I've always had a faith. Okay. Like, and I'm very much like to God. Like, I've always loved you. I don't think I've ever done anything that warrants this. Like, why would you allow this to happen to me? Why would you allow me to go through so much pain? And I continuously heard, I am refining you. I am refining you. I am refining you. I'm refining you. There is more to this. There is more to this. There is more to this. Lean in and trust me. Lean in and trust me. And I could not see past my pain for a very long time. It took a long time for
mm.
me to be able to see the bigger picture. And there have been several times that I've been angry with God because I haven't been able to understand. And I think it's also, we don't always interpret what we feel like God is telling us in the right way. It's a skill
Yeah,
that as you go deeper into your faith and you lean more into your faith, your discernment becomes stronger,
yeah.
your ability to really hear God. Okay, that voice, it will become louder, but that is a journey.
That is a
It
journey.
doesn't happen straight away.
Hmm.
And yeah, and I openly speak about this on my TikTok. Like, I have been angry with God, and it's okay for people to be angry with God.
Definitely. That's why
He
I asked you. Yeah.
understands. Yeah, and life can be hard. I've spoken to people who have not just lost children through family court, but they have buried their children. Like,
Mm,
you know, like really hard,
mm.
hard, hard, hard times. You're gonna be angry with God if you bury your baby. You know, any really difficult hardship, and that is okay. But I think that it is important to express that to God, and to go through that with God. Like, go through that process and journey with God, because that is your own individual relationship with Him. He knows and He can see the bigger picture. You cannot, and you cannot get there and understand what it is that He's trying to teach you, what it is that He's trying to show you, unless you are in very open and honest communication with God.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, in a nutshell, it
Mm.
is okay to be angry with God.
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
No, 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 no. You don't have to apologize. I love your elaboration, and
Mm.
we need you to
It is
elaborate on that, Charlotte,
absolutely
because,
fine.
yeah,
Of course it is.
absolutely. So, do you also believe that division within families is part of the larger destructive pattern?
Absolutely. The division within families. I have said sort of openly on TikTok, there are a lot of systems and structures that I believe have been created to conquer and divide the people.
Definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you need to think how much the enemy must love division in the family. Yeah, segregating that baby, that child, he's going straight into that child's heart. Imagine the pain that baby is in, that child is in, the pain that the parents are in. And I say this, okay, and I do want to clarify this on the podcast. It's very important. It's a very important part of the message that I feel God puts through me.
Mm.
Anything low vibrational, anger, sadness, whether these are, just emotions, experiences, things that are happening to you, sadness, anger, anything low vibrational is from the enemy. Okay, the enemy wants you to feel frustrated, angry,
Mm.
alone,
Mm.
confused,
Doubtful.
doubtful,
Mm.
like heartbroken, sad. Doesn't matter what way you look at it. Any family division is
Mm.
causing pain
Mm.
in the hearts of people.
Mm.
God doesn't want that for you. Okay, God does not want that for you. God wants people to stand together, to stand united, to be in love, to feel loved, to feel cared for, to feel protected, to feel looked after.
That's right.
Within the family unit, you can do that the most. And I really feel that even if mum and dad can't be together for whatever reason, if you can both love your child enough to put your own personal grievances to the side, that child will still be able to grow up in a nourishing and fulfilling and caring environment. I've seen the two because I have a brilliant relationship with my daughter's dad,
Mm.
and we've always said we both love her more than anything. We would never want any harm to come to her, and we've done our best. We were both 19 when we had her, like we were
Mm.
young, and
Yeah.
we've done our best to raise her as best we possibly can as separated parents, and always been very open to other people coming into her life. My daughter's had a stepmom for years now. I love her. What a
Brilliant.
woman.
Yeah.
What a woman. Like honestly, they're like she's amazing with her. She's her second mum.
Brilliant.
She is her second mum. And when I've been through my hard times, she has stepped up. And the more people that love your children, the better.
Yeah.
And the enemy he's trying to attack people through families.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm,
I mean, that's the first thing he done
mm.
uh, was attack. I would say Adam through Eve, because he didn't wait for
Yeah,
them to both be
yeah, yeah, yeah.
together, did he?
It's so true.
He waited for an isolated moment,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like on her own.
That's so true, actually.
Yeah. Then he went there first,
Yeah,
and then she done the act, as you know,
yeah, yeah.
and then man followed. So, but what we needed Adam to be a Jesus, meaning
Mm.
because Jesus would have led.
Adam listened to her.
Adam listened.
Eve and not God, yeah.
And there's a lot of Adams in the world today. I've
Mm.
been Adam many, many, many
Yeah.
times. Yeah. But thank God for
Yeah.
Jesus.
Amen.
Amen. But I'm just mentioning.
Sorry, can I just say one more thing just to add on
Of
to that?
course, of course.
It's like I'm talking to any Christian women. If you are in a family court battle, okay, and you are actively choosing for no, I'm not going to say no good reason, but no reasonable reason, no true reasonable reason, and you are actively choosing to take your child away from their father, the pain that you are causing your child by doing that, and the damage that you are causing your child by doing that, is far more like than the damage and the pain that it will cause you to allow that child to go and spend time with that parent, because it is usually the mum's personal feelings and grievances towards the father that
Absolutely.
is actually stopping that contact, as opposed to
Anything else,
anything
really?
else.
Yeah.
Okay, feelings, energy, it cannot be destroyed. It is only ever transferred. And as a woman and as a mother, you should be willing to take the pain of losing that time with your child. Okay, accept that pain, accept that it hasn't worked out, and that is now part of your story.
Okay.
Because if you are not, you are transferring that pain onto your child by separating them from their other parent. And a lot of women cannot see that. Okay, it is your duty as the parent to take the hit, not the child's.
Right.
Mm,
Whilst I agree with you there,
mm,
because there was a time when I was almost caught up in bitterness.
Mm.
I say almost because it didn't happen.
Mm.
Praise God, right? Because yeah, the Holy Spirit wouldn't allow that within me.
Love that for you.
But do you know what the Holy Spirit taught me at that moment?
Mm.
Just as Jesus said on the cross,
Mm.
Father, forgive them for they don't know what
Mm.
they're doing.
Mm.
And some of these mums,
Mm.
some of these dads,
Mm.
they don't know what they're doing,
No,
Charlotte.
they don't.
And not to justify
Mm.
their actions because of that, not condoning their actions
Mm.
because of that,
Mm.
but as Christians, believers of Christ, we carry, as you said earlier, a certain level of responsibility.
Mm.
And these guys can be considered maybe like the weaker vessel.
Mhm.
This has got nothing to do with gender now.
Mhm.
This has just purely got to do with who that person is,
Mhm.
right? And the battles that they faced in their life potentially may have led them to
Mhm.
it's the only fight they know,
Mm.
which is to hurt.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not condoning it.
No, but and
'Cause-
that is why I'm explaining,
Yeah.
okay, that there is going to be pain during this.
Right.
Somebody, you're hurt. If there's a
Inevitably,
separation,
there's going
there
to
is
be
pain
pain.
there, okay?
100%, yes.
You can't get rid of the pain. You can only, basically, the point that I just want to make here, okay, is that when there is a breakup and a separation, pain exists. Yeah,
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
some parents allow their child to feel the brunt of that pain,
Mm.
and it is wrong. And I see it. I've spoken to hundreds of people,
Mm.
and it is they're punishing the children, and it's not right.
I
It's not.
appreciate you saying that to me because
Yeah.
I have difficulty sometimes in
Mm.
finding how can my little girl.
You've been in her
How's this
life for the whole
happen?
10
Yeah, I've
years?
been in her life for
No,
the
no,
whole 10
that's coming
years.
from mum.
And
And it probably is over money, unfortunately.
I don't think so because she gets a good amount now.
Yeah. But if you saw your daughter more, she probably wouldn't get that.
I honestly can't answer you, man. I even
Mm.
booked a trip to take. We were going to go Japan
Mm.
in August, and I did threaten her in terms of her behaviour,
Mm.
which might have been wrong.
Mm.
But I said to her, "Do you think that behaviour warrants going to the Far East?"
Mm.
And she was like, So I said, "I'm not sure it does,
Mm.
but
What, so you didn't aggressively tell her off?
no." I shouted.
Yeah. So you
I,
parented.
Yeah.
I shout at my kids all the time. It's normal.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I'm genuinely like, even as a Christian mother, yeah, I'd be lying if I sat here and said.
We wouldn't be human if we
No,
didn't.
but you
right?
wouldn't know. You
Right.
lot are doing a madness right
Yeah,
now.
right.
But like, it's true though.
Yeah.
It's true.
So
No one's perfect.
nobody is, and one thing I can categorically say or honestly say is that I never put my hand on my daughter or any of my children. I've got a son as well, by the way. But yeah, she obviously, I don't know. I can't even say that she was scared because the following day we kind of got on with the day as normal. And when I done the drop off, hug daddy, everything was normal. So, like you just said,
there's more to it.
There's more to it.
One thing can happen, and then the other parent feeds into it.
Yeah.
And then they will catastrophize that in the child's mind.
Right.
It's manipulation.
It's so sad.
And a woman is only doing that to hurt you.
To get me. And it's working to some extent.
Of course.
But I'm so grateful, like I said, to know the Lord, to know that He is my refuge, He's my strength. I have down days, no doubt, no lie, right? But he always picks me back. He always seems to pick me back up.
Of course he does.
You
know?
Yeah. And yeah, I'm grateful to God for that. As I was saying to you earlier on about forgiving those that don't understand. This scenario and these scenarios give me the sense that if I am to actually be Christ-like, then it's moments like this that is going to test that Christ-likeness in me. No cookies and creams lifestyle is going to test my Christ-likeness, So in a way, I kind of do have to be hard-pressed, and Bible speaks very much about all of these stuff, doesn't it? And you mentioned earlier on about being refined.
Mhm.
So maybe there was parts of me
Mhm.
that God still wanted to tweak
Of
and,
course.
fine tune. And I take that because, may he complete one of my favorite passages. I've got a few, but one of my favorite ones taken from, I think it's in Timothy, Second Timothy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it says, may the Lord complete the good works that he's began
Mhm.
in me. You know that
Mhm.
one?
Mhm.
And that's what I ask him, daily. Just you've already begun a good work in me. Continue till it's
See it
complete.
through.
See it
Yeah.
through. And
Forgiveness is hard.
it can be quite difficult, isn't
Oh,
it?
so difficult.
I was just going to come on to that right now, as we're drawing to an end. Um, have you forgiven?
Now I have. Now I have. Now I have. Probably only maybe Christmas time though. Like
Okay.
Christmas just gone because obviously it's happened
And how do you
multiple
know?
times.
How do you know? How does a person know that they've forgiven
Because
someone?
I feel free. I feel free. I do. Like completely, I feel free. And that's how I know.
Beautiful.
Mm.
If Jesus walked into a family courtroom, what would you want him to challenge for you?
The parents' hearts.
Amen.
Mm.
You ain't got to say nothing more. What does forgiveness look like? I had the question written as what does the forgiveness look like when legal trauma still hurts? But
Mhm.
I mean, in your case, you said that from the beginning of the year to and then the ending of the last year, you believe you've come to a place of forgiveness
Mhm.
because you feel free.
Mhm.
That was such a beautiful answer, and I know it was sincere
Mm.
because, yeah, it came out sincere. Um, what's your advice to someone right now who needs to forgive? They're struggling.
Try and bear in mind that when you're not forgiving, you are actually only hurting your own heart and your own soul. Forgiveness is for you and not for
Not
the
for
other person. And to really bear in mind that people are making decisions in their life based upon how they feel, what they think, and what they do actually has nothing to do with who you are, and it doesn't reflect who you are
That's
as a
right.
person.
And what advice would you give to a parent entering court tomorrow?
Mm. Brace yourself. I'm joking.
Buckle
Um,
up! No, I'm joking
mm,
as well.
really do try and resolve it between yourselves, would be my best advice. If you can't, I know a lot of people can't, then do what you believe to be right in your heart, despite legal advice. Okay, you should follow your legal advice. I'm not telling you not to. Sometimes you're going to be legally advised. You need to bear in mind that that is because their interest is their pocket, not your child's welfare. So follow your heart and your instinct
Mhm.
more than anything else.
Okay. And how do we protect children
Mm.
better?
From the legal system or
Yeah, I think yeah, in these
mm,
circumstances, again, advisory, according perhaps to your own experience, how would you best protect your children going into legal battles,
I think,
if there is any kind of best?
yeah, the best protection that you can probably give your children is a very solid emotional force field around them. Like, you need to love them 10 times as much as you did
Mm,
without the legal battle, which can be hard when you're not seeing your children.
mm,
It's almost impossible when you're not seeing your children. But if you are having contact with your children, they need to feel your love as much as humanly possible. Like, I think that love in my heart will cure everything.
we know love is, yeah.
And I know that that doesn't help a lot of people, but you being stressed and anxious around them and flapping and not knowing what to do is not beneficial. And when I
Mm,
say love, I mean in terms of hugs and affection, but also just in play. Like, the time that you do have with them, make it intentional. Give them all that you've got. Even if when you don't feel like it, I've been there when it's like, I don't have the energy to do this right now. I will force myself to do it because I know how much they need my love when children are going through difficult things.
mm. That that was a really good answer because though we know that love pretty much is the answer to all
Mm,
things, not everyone knows how to convey it.
mm-hmm.
Um, some parents show that are not as affectionate as you are,
I am so affectionate
so
though.
to
Like,
speak,
I am the
right? So
most affectionate person in the world.
yeah, but I'm just imagining someone right now who's listening,
Mm,
and unfortunately for them,
mm,
they didn't grow up with too many hugs.
mm-hmm,
They've got children,
mm-hmm,
and they don't really know how to
mm,
give. So when you say bring up a child in love,
mm,
besides the affectionate side,
mm,
the touch, the feel,
mm,
you mentioned in play as well.
mm.
What other stuff would you advise that can demonstrate protection, um, other than the affection of love and that?
I think time.
Yeah.
So even if you're not as affectionate, time when you do have your children, trying to include them in everything that you're doing. If you're in the kitchen cooking, like, have your child with you, not on
Mm,
the iPad, not
mm,
somewhere else.
mm.
Like, have your child actively with you. Um and find
That's a good
something,
one.
yeah, like, and just find something that you can do together. Like, what does your child enjoy? What do
Mm.
they enjoy doing? My son loves football.
Did you
We
kick a
play
ball with him?
football. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not that it's not my favourite thing in the
No,
world
but
to do. Do I run around my house and play football though? Yeah, of course I do, because he loves it. Same as, like, my daughter, she loves knitting. I can't knit. Do I listen to her talk about knitting and all the different rows and styles of knitting? Because she loves it. You just, whatever they love, you engage in what
mm,
they love.
mm,
And when you have adult tasks to do, you engage them in the adult tasks with
mm,
you. So that there's a constant, flow of, and that is how I think you love your children in the
mm.
normal day to day, engaging with them in what they love and making them engage with you when you are doing the adult things that you are doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things that I learned recently that I would add into that is listen to your
Of course.
child.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very traditional Caribbean background,
Mhm.
so you mentioned earlier on children were to be
Seen and not
seen and not
heard.
heard at a
Yeah.
time, right? And I kind of took that into my parenting,
Yeah.
and I soon learned,
Mhm.
no, mate,
Yeah.
that's old school stuff. Leave that alone,
Yeah.
because maybe our parents didn't know any better.
No, that people are
You
only
know,
ever doing the best they can with what they
hundred
have.
percent, 100%. So yeah, I took it upon myself with a bit of advice as well to listen to my children a bit more,
Mhm.
particularly my daughter. She's very vocal,
Yeah.
um, and that has, well, I haven't seen her since October, but I thought
Mm.
it solidified our relationship
Yeah.
more as well.
It will come.
It will come
Daughters,
back, isn't
yeah,
it?
it will.
Okay, good.
100%. Daughters need their dads. They
They
do. They do.
they do.
No matter who wants to, a little girl, especially in this day and age,
Mm,
needs her daddy. And
mm,
if you are a dad that
mm.
wants to actively be there for your child, and she knows that, she will eventually come back no matter what. No
Thank
matter
you.
what.
That's so encouraging,
Mm,
and yeah, that's my hope
Mm.
I'll hold on to. Um, if you could, for the sake of love, love for God,
Mhm.
love for you, love for others, would you like to have a future where you and your ex-husband, friends, you're able to get on?
Honestly,
Please.
no,
Okay.
no.
And could you stress why not, very briefly?
Um, Once you are aware of how dangerous
Right.
and damaging
Mm,
and conniving
mm.
somebody is,
Chop them
I
off.
don't need someone to tell me twice. Like I don't.
Yeah.
You've shown me once. No,
Okay.
no. And that might not really resonate with me saying that I have
No,
forgiven.
because you can
Okay.
forgive someone,
Okay, but
but it doesn't mean you got
you
to.
have no access to me
Mm, mm,
ever again, because, and I have to set that example to my children. I wouldn't allow my son to grow up and think that that behavior is acceptable. And if I
mhm.
condone it by communicating and conversating, then I think it will show my son that that is okay. If my son ever done that, it would not be acceptable, and I would never allow anybody to treat my daughter in that way. And prior to this happening, I tried, before he done all of this, I really tried my best to say, let's have an amicable split. You know, you can come and see him every night. We can. I really tried, and he chose this path. And I do believe that it is definitely an enemy, dark versus light situation
Mm.
on a much bigger scale than just parenting of my child.
I really appreciate that answer,
Mm,
because darkness and light can't mix.
mm-mm.
And yeah, you've just said it there. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Oh, I've had so much fun.
Like, seriously.
It's been so nice.
And I think this is probably the most emotional episode for me personally, because it rang so close to my own
Mhm.
current experiences. I really appreciate what you shared here, not just for the listening viewers, but
Mm.
for me
Mhm.
as well. Um, if anyone wants to obviously stay in touch with you,
Yeah.
what's your handles and stuff like that?
So I'm on all social media at Charlotte's Story with like a little X at the end. So yeah, on all social media at Charlotte's Story.
Excellent. And I could see you one day probably becoming. You ever thought about
Go on.
counselling people or
Yeah, so I think I've actually had um quite a few people saying like, "Are you coaching? Are you mentoring? Like, what is the?" And I think I've only come to TikTok and sort of social media very recently, and overall, I think I really would like to help people. God is still letting that all unfold for me at the
yeah,
minute.
I sense that from you. But anyway, whatever God has got planned and stored,
Mm,
you know it's going to be a mighty one.
yeah,
And I
love
think you're
that.
going to make such an impact.
Oh,
Charlotte,
thank
thank you.
you. Thank
Thank
you for having me. It's been really, really
You're
nice.
most welcome. If today's episode was interesting to you in any way, then the biggest and freest way to support us is to hit follow, like, and subscribe. It would really mean a lot if you could share it with anybody that you know, just so that we can get our voice out there. Who knows if it will help someone who needs to hear it. Remember, everything is upside down.